Hey everyone, Aysen here, back with another Prince of Persia video, and today I'm going to be analyzing the gameplay overview because I never got a chance to look at it specifically and very closely, so I wanted to do that today because there are some beautiful scenes and scenes of gameplay that I think should have been used in the trailer rather than be putting them for the gameplay overview instead. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for Prince of Persia content, and let's get into it. So as I was finishing the editing for this video, I actually found new gameplay footage to my surprise in the same video. And so I thought I'd put these in the beginning, and then you can watch my analysis after these clips. And so in this clip, for example, we see a footage of the combat, and it seems to be parry attack in the game, and it looks explosive, it looks fun, and I really enjoy the gameplay that's been shown, and you can see my analysis later on, but just for this clips, it looks awesome. The combat just looks really nice. We also see some new footage from the parkour. Once again, it looks fast, it looks smooth, and it's exactly what I would want to see from the remake. And here's another footage from the parkour. Once again, it looks really polished, it looks really nice, and I really like the new footage that I'm seeing actually. And this seems to just be a concept art, not much to it, but I thought it was really interesting as well. And then here's some other clips that just went by too fast, but I thought they were interesting to show nonetheless. So some new images, and then some wall running, and overall all these new footage look really nice, and the combat overall looks awesome. But yeah, as you watch on, and I hope you watch on, you'll see my analysis of the footage. Not this footage, but the footage we saw in the trailer, because I literally just saw this. So that was a quick analysis, but please watch on and enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you. So in this clip where the prince is running, for example, the atmosphere looks really good. There's shadows. The prince looks fine, and he kind of looks weird because his face is expressionless, and that's fine because in the original game we were used to a prince who had a angry face basically from the very beginning, so it's kind of jarring to see this emotionless face. But I mean, this scene looks great, it looks fine, the atmospheres look amazing. And then when we get to this scene, we see that there's actually lots of expression in their faces, and they don't look emotionless like the actual trailer, and the animations look really nice. It just seems as though they need to polish up the shadows a bit, and that's really all that's missing. And once again, this is alpha footage, that's what you would expect. That's why I'm not too worried about this, because this, who knows how long ago this was made. So, and the reason I'm not worried is because of these amazing scenes that I've seen. So the first one is the following, where the prince is rotating this lever, and as you can see, the textures look really nice, the atmosphere looks amazing, the prince himself looks really good, the shadows are all there, the textures are there, and it has that feel that you would expect from the game. It has that magical feel, and it really looks as though, and it really feels as though you're in that magical world of Prince of Persia. And then here's another scene, the one which really shows me that this part of the game was probably polished the most. This is when the prince gets out of the tent with his dagger, and here the shadows, once again, all there, the textures all there, and they look really nice, and it looks proper, it looks like everything's polished, and that's exactly what you would expect, and it looks really nice. Because if you compare it to the trailer, in this scene for example, it's night and day, literally. Because I mean, look at them, it looks completely different, like two different games, and it looks like half of the game they've been working on really hard, and then the other half there's just something been going on and they haven't finished it. And that makes sense, it's an alpha footage. And then once again we get to these scenes which I really enjoyed watching because they're gameplay scenes. So here he's fighting, he's jumping over that person's head. Once again, atmosphere looks amazing, lighting looks great, the prince looks great, and the animations are much faster when in combat, and it looks really satisfying when they're hitting the sand monsters. And it just looks like the combat is much smoother overall, and it looks much more satisfying. And if we look here, when he's fighting sand monsters, in the very back you can actually see a sand monster who's pretty much at the end of his life, because what seems to be happening is there's 3 glowing orbs around him, which seems to indicate that you can knock the sand monster down and basically finish him off with your dagger. You can actually see it in this scene as well when he's fighting the falling sand monster. Right here, we can see the glowing orbs, and that indicates that you can do this animation, and it looks really satisfying. And people were once again complaining that the sand monsters look like sand, and from here it really doesn't look like it. It looks like they have that zombie feel. And I actually really like how the combat feels from the trailer that I can see, because one of my I guess gripes about the Forgotten Sands game was that everything was really nice about that game, but the combat, it felt light. It didn't feel like you had impact. But in this game, it feels like you're hitting something, and it feels like you're actually fighting that person. And one last thing that I want to point out is that on the bottom left of the screen, there seems to be something there with a helmet. I don't know what that is, but it's something that seems to appear during combat. And one last thing about this scene, just look at it. It looks really nice. It looks magical, and it looks like the other scenes that look very polished. And now I wanted to look at the parkour. Once again, everything looks really nice. The game looks perfect, and then the parkour seems much faster as well. And once again, I felt like I really liked the parkour in Prince of Persia Forgotten Sands, but I felt as though he was kind of gliding in the air when he was jumping between things. It didn't feel as fast as the original games, and I'm glad that they're making the parkour and combat faster, and it feels much more satisfying in my opinion. And really, the games look really nice here. And here's one final scene. Once again, in my opinion, atmosphere just looks fantastic. And when rewinding time, it looks really nice as well. And the footage from all of these just looks amazing. From all of these scenes, what you can tell is that the gameplay overview has lots of clips where the game looks really nice, and then you have those clips that you see from the trailer and they don't really line up. And it seems as though once again, the footage that they've shown in the trailer, it seems to be parts of the game that they haven't finished and they haven't really polished. But the game itself, in the game, the gameplay that they've shown, you can really feel that magical Prince of Persia feel to the game, that Arabic Nights feel to the game that they originally had. And I think they're really doing that part of the game justice, because that's what really made the game be set apart from any other game at the time. It has that feel, and I think they've really hit the nail on that from what I can tell from just the gameplay overview. And the gameplay looks responsive and satisfying, and the atmospheres look great. The prince looks much better, and I think we'll just have to wait and see. But ever since I looked at these gameplay overview clips, I really got more excited, because even though the cutscenes don't look the best or whatever these scenes are, it seems it's just not polished, and I feel like the end product that we'll get at the end of the day will be really amazing. And I'm excited, and hopefully you guys are all as well, because I've pre-ordered it, and I hope if you're a Prince of Persia fan, I'm sure you've already pre-ordered it as well. But if you haven't, hopefully my arguments have convinced you. But I'm not here to make anyone buy anything if they don't believe in it. But what I can tell you is that from what I could see and from all the different videos that I've done so far, the game looks like it's going to be great, and I'm excited to play it as well. Alright, with that, thank you guys so much for watching today, and definitely leave a comment on what you think about the gameplay overview. And with that, I hope you all have a fantastic day or night, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.